Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Publicly Buzzed Live on a very unusual and a very rare Saturday night. I'm calling it Saturday Night Fever. We have a very special guest in the house here tonight. I have my brother Dan also coming back from 2 nights in a row from Feral Friday. But yeah, we have Joe Jackalone hanging out tonight, ladies and gentlemen. And I cannot believe that he came on Publicly Buzzed. I'm super excited. He was hanging out with Jay earlier. Jay was on his channel. Yeah, he's doing the damn thing. He's making it happen here on YouTube, multiple platforms. And yeah, we're really glad that he would come and hang out with us here on Publicly Buzzed Live. And yeah, let me make sure I get him over here correctly. Boom. What's up, fellas?
Hello, hello.
Hey, how are you?
I'm good. I'm good. Again,
good.
Saturday Night Fever, baby. I didn't know if you know this, Joe. You're in for a disco.
All right, good. Well, actually, it kind of fits with my age because I grew up during the disco age.
That's awesome. Yeah, I should have made the background some kind of like disco party. Now, I didn't want to go all out. I didn't know what to call it. I was like, well, we never do a live on a Saturday Night Fever. But
Works.
yeah, thank you so much, sir. I appreciate you coming on here.
Yeah, sure, anytime.
Yeah, Joe. I mean, dude, you're a retired NYPD sergeant, and not only that, you're also a freaking author, man. Like you write books. Like you are on every national network talking about crime on a daily basis. Like you are not only doing the damn thing, but you have done the damn thing, and now trying to help other people with sharing some of your knowledge, man. Yeah, well, like what's that feel like? Like, and then again, also getting into kind of a different media form, right? Like you're now doing it on your own outlets, YouTube, Kick, and Twitter.
Yep, exactly. So I spent over 20 years in the police department. I joined the police department, if you want to feel young. I joined the police department in 1992. And,
whoa, that's when I started kindergarten.
So you're going to make me feel old then, right? So, yeah, I joined the police department in 1992, and I was assigned to the Bronx. And, back then, by 1994, we were at the high watermark for homicides. So it was, it was an interesting time. And I retired in 2012. I had a pretty good career. I retired, like you said, as a sergeant, but I actually had the designation of what we call SDS, which is Supervisor Detective Squad. Some people call it Detective Sergeant. It's basically the sergeant with the lieutenant's pay. And only 3% of the sergeants get it. So it's actually a pretty prestigious rank to get. I know I sound like I'm tooting my own horn, but, why not? Nobody else is doing it.
I was about to say, too.
Yeah. But I've been teaching at John Jay College of Criminal Justice in Manhattan I think I start my 19th year this January.
Wow.
And so I've been doing it a long time. I always walk into class and I tell the kids, if you're trying to get through these 4 years, just think of me. I've been here 19 years already. So if I could do 19
feels like it's
years,
went by like that, right?
Yeah, you could. Everything went by so fast. I remember when I first got in the police department. As one of the old timers go, "Hey kids, enjoy it while it lasts because you snap your fingers and it's over." And I'm like, yeah, because you're just, when you first get on, you're like, oh my God, I got to do at least 20 years before I could even think about doing something else. And then honestly, I don't know where the time went. I had a great time. I met a lot of great people. Like I said, I don't miss the circus, but I miss the clowns. That's basically
that's the people you actually worked with on a regular basis.
Yeah, that's basically it in a nutshell. But policing was good to me. It provided me with the tools that I needed to even do other things. So when I was teaching classes, I was teaching the investigations class, because they try to fit you in about what your areas of expertise. And so I was teaching the supervision class and the investigations class. And, I was always complaining about the book because you get these books, right? They're like $150 these kids have to buy. And I was saying, it just never taught you how to, solve a case. So I was always complaining about it. So finally one of the professors said, well, stop complaining about it and write your own already. So I'm like, all right, challenge accepted. So I wrote the book. I got it. I sent it to one publisher and they called me up and they said, all right, we have 5 books that we publish every year. We like yours, but we have 6 books. Yours is one of them. Tell me why, right? So here, over the phone, I had to do this. So I must have said something that they liked because we are now in its 4th edition.
Wow.
So it's done. What I did was, I wrote an affordable book, right? And then the new book just came out. The Cold Case Handbook just came out too. So that was my second one. That was almost like a pandemic book.
Yeah, let me see. I've got that up here. Yeah. Let me put the link in here also for anybody that wants to purchase this book. Or hold on, I've also got the other one up here in the chat here. Because man, these would probably be amazing. Hold on here.
Well, this book, the new book is doing really well. I'm really excited about it. I wrote it not just for law enforcement. It's written for the general public, the true crime sleuthers, and it's also written for families and their victims. I dedicate whole chapters to them about things about what they can do. Well, even though I'm an older person, then people think you're set in your ways and stuff like that. But when it comes to the cold cases, because I did this for a number of years, I'm actually pretty progressive with this, and I think that police departments, including the executives, need to open up the access to these things because if the case is open for 30 years already, what harm can you do than bringing in outsiders to try to look at some of these things? Because you just never know.
Absolutely. And then all the times that you did work on cold cases, like what's the percentage of actually like solving a lot of these cases? Like I know it's got to be difficult with so much time passed. I know it's getting easier with like the technology with DNA and stuff, but it had to be, especially starting so early back in the day.
Yeah, well, like I said, I wish I had the advantages of some of the new technologies that they had today because I know for a fact there were a number of cases that we were looking into way back when that we would have been able to use some of this either investigative genetic genealogy or kind of backing yourself into a suspect
It's like
because
magic now.
yeah, but it still takes a long time, right? I know on TV it's 45 minutes and 3 commercials and the whole thing is solved and and ready to go, but it's just they're really difficult cases because if they were that easy to solve, they would have been solved already.
That's true. Yeah, that's the
Can
truth.
we get that book in audio form read by you?
I saw Viv say that. Dude, your voice. Yeah,
I would
you
love
should
it,
definitely do. Hey, if they ever approach you, you have to do your own audio for your. Yeah, don't
Audio
let
book,
them
yeah.
hire anybody else.
That would be amazing.
Yeah, you like that New York accent in there?
That'd
Yeah.
be perfect. Real quick, say no to globalism. Thank you very much for the $9.99. Let me hit you with a little bit of give me the loot, baby. Hell yeah, appreciate it. And then right underneath that, coming through with a little bit of love also. Oh, hold on. No, above that. Hold on. Ashy Snow coming through with $9.99 saying thanks. Thank you very Appreciate that. Appreciate that, guys.
That's good, right?
Boom. Boom. There you go. Pop it up there on the
Very good.
screen. Yeah, love it, guys. Thank y'all so much for the support. Yeah, I think if you guys, I haven't got your kick link in here. I need to get that in there, but if you put
it's
in
just,
the exclamation point for Joe, there's his YouTube channel. Make sure you're following him on there for sure. Still trying to get the hours on there, but you're getting closer with every stream.
Yeah, we're actually a quarter of the way there, right? So I got about 3,000 hours to go, but that 1,000 hours has been done in the last 3 or 4 weeks. So it's going pretty fast. Like if and I know I have to create more content. I mean, that's the bottom line. So I've been doing that lately.
You're
Gonna get a little
underway.
interrupted, but I mean, Tuesday we got the show with Gus Garcia Roberts, and then I got CrimeCon, which we can talk about too. So that's gonna take up a big part of this whole next, middle of the week, end of the week. It's gonna be a whole big shebang.
I'm so jealous of everyone that's going to CrimeCon. I'm definitely. I think we're 100% going next year. Like, there's no way we're not going to be able to go this year. I don't think it's going to work out. But man, the ability to go there and not only just network, but just to meet the people that you've kind of been like, hanging out with on X and on Twitter and meeting throughout the social networks. Man, I'm actually the fear of missing out is really there for this one. I hate it.
Yeah, I really hope we can make it next year.
Yeah, you got to go because that podcast row. When I first, because this will be my 4th time there. So when I first started, I think that podcast row was just basically like a couple of tables, and then as the years went by, they started getting bigger and bigger. And now it's got to have its own room. I mean, it's got to be that big.
Wow. That's what I put in
Yeah.
for. I put in for being a podcast, and, they take the YouTube channels as well. I don't know if we'll get into that level, but hell, you never know if you don't try, right? So we'll see.
Hey, listen, shoot for the stars. If you get the moon, it's good for you.
And if we don't get in there, we're still going to be going. We're going to be networking. We're going to be on the floor. We're going to be hanging out. So, yeah, I'm excited, man. Which, we've got to get through this year, and I can't wait to see. I know Bob's going to be there. And the who's who is going to be there. That's the thing. Like, that's why you really need to kind of be there to hang out. Hold on, Viv going to come through real quick, and I think I got the sound effects fixed. Thanks, Jay, for that. Art with Viv, $20 coming through. In case I miss Murder Church, I'm passing the plate to Pastor Steve. Thank you so much, Viv. I appreciate that. Let me hit you with one of these. Boom, there we go. Hopefully you can hear that one. And holy shit, hold on. We got an anniversary here. Member for 5 months. Heather. That is a long time, Heather. Hope you're doing well. Well, I hope you're doing well, and thank you for being a member here at Publicly Buzzed Live for 5 months. That's unbelievable.
Happy anniversary.
Happy anniversary.
Anniversary! It's anniversary!
Thank you so much. Appreciate that. Joe, one thing I want to touch on real quick, this is what, I was reading up, getting ready for this, which, your credentials are insane, but you actually, were the recipient of the Medal of Valor. Like
Yeah, that and 275. Yeah,
that's
the
pretty
275
wild,
gets me a
right?
ride on the subway. Yeah, that's basically what you're talking about. Yeah, I mean, I was a rookie cop and I was involved in a gunfight. And at the time when we got on the police department, we still had 38 caliber guns. So here we are. We get a call for a group of disorderly youths in a warehouse, and my partner and I walk into three guys with Tech-9 machine guns robbing a Cablevision warehouse. They were stealing. Remember back in the day, the cable boxes?
Mm-hmm.
They had those cards in them, so they were stealing all the boxes, and they had this big truck outside, but we didn't know what we walked into. It was Saturday morning, around 11 or 12 o'clock or so, and the sun was, into our backs, but you walk in from the outside into this warehouse, and, you go from the sun into the dark, and you don't see anything until we were right on top of them. They didn't even see us either. And then, and then the gunfire erupted, that kind of thing. But, so.
And you're young as hell.
Yeah, and I was young. I was a kid. I only had 2 years on the job. I was probably 25, or so. And it was an interesting, aspect of policing, because they always tell you, listen, most people don't, take their gun out and do this stuff, and then here you are, doing it.
By fucking Uzi. That's crazy.
Yeah, I mean, it was an 8-minute gunfight too between the two of us.
They had a lot of ammo then, huh?
Yeah, well, they had clips of 15 bullets in it. I had 6 bullets, and then I had we used to have a thing called speed loaders, which was for those of you that don't know, it's a little device that holds the 6 rounds in it, and you put your fingers through the cylinder and you dump them, and then you put it in, you lock it in, and then it comes back out. But you only have 18 bullets. That's it. So you have to use your bullets real carefully when you're doing this. And it was a nutty time. Kind of surreal kind of thing.
Yeah, and again, to be so young into it, that's got to mess you up. I mean,
believe it or not, actually, I did pretty good with it in that respect. I mean, they send you to the psychologist there.
That's what I was going to ask if there was therapy. Yeah.
Yeah, they send you
that long ago, right?
Yeah,
it almost seems like therapy would be more of a new thing.
Well, it was it's part of department policy that if you take out your gun and fire it in the defense of yourself or others, it's an automatic, right? So you have to go. They take away your guns. They go to send them to testing. They send you for testing, right? So you go to the hospital. They check you out to make sure that, Jake, he's a real hero. Yeah, no, heroes are sandwiches, Jake. So the issue that comes down to
you're too humble, Jake.
Yeah, they're sandwiches. And if you go elsewhere, they call them hoagies, right? So if you ask them, if you go to Pennsylvania and ask for a hero, they look at you like, "What? What do you want?" But it's a process like everything else. I just hope that the process gets better, because we do know it is an important aspect of policing where the cops really need to get those services, because they go through a lot of things.
Absolutely.
I mean, you deal with a lot of trauma all day long, dead people, dead babies, domestic fights. I mean, you name it, car accidents. And, for some people, it can really affect them. And others, they do better with it, And I know there's a cop right now, I think out in Seattle, who's in trouble because he made some comments and he laughed and his woman was dead, whatever. But I always try to explain to people, it's kind of a defense mechanism sometimes, that gallows humor, that dark humor. So,
we use dark humor on here with a lot of the stories that we cover. I mean, I think you kind of have to. You're dealing with this every single day. Police in general, seeing it right then and there. You're the first on the scene. Who knows what you're walking into? I honestly couldn't imagine.
I feel pretty desensitized to a lot of stuff that we see. But if you saw it in person, I can't imagine. That would mess me up pretty bad.
Believe it or not, I think I've seen worse things on TV right now, than actually in person. Because some of the things that that they do with the movies and those kind of things, it's like, well, it's not reality anyway, but they make it
pretty extreme.
Really crazy. Yeah, I like in TV how they strangle somebody in like 6 seconds and the guy's dead, right, or unconscious. That's not in real life. That doesn't.
Yeah, after having Carrie Rawson on here, she was talking about BTK, her dad, and just reading about him in general, I guess he was in general thinking it would be easier than it was to strangle somebody, not being able to actually even complete the job, and just they were passed out and they were still alive, and I guess you don't think about stuff like that, but.
Well, that's good that we don't think of stuff like that.
That's true too. That's a good point. We're not out here
all I can
practicing
tell you
like
is
he
that
was.
all I can tell you is that if you're getting all your information from the television shows, they probably led you in the wrong direction.
Yeah.
That's true. And hold on real quick. I think we saw somebody gift out a membership. Let me hit that real quick. Michelle gifted out a membership, and Tracy K. Welcome, Tracy. And thank you very much, Michelle. I really appreciate that. Let me hit you with a...
Welcome to the party, pal.
Boom. Welcome to the party, pal. Love it. Love it. Real quick, I'll do a quick little plug. On Tuesdays, starting this Tuesday, members-only shows are going to be happening on Tuesday. I'm putting together these shows that are going to be basically introducing killers that you've never heard of before. And then the following Tuesday after, you're going to get that episode to the public. So you're going to want to get first dibs on that and become a member here at Publicly Buzzed. And again, this Tuesday will be the first episode of that. So yeah, thank you again. And then Holly Berry coming through with $10. Bam, Holly Berry. Now Holly Berry does have her own special sound effect. Thank you, Holly. I appreciate that. And holy shit, gifted another membership, Missy. Bam. And who's going to get that bad boy? Catherine Grow. Here we go. That's what I like to see. Cracking a beer. And welcome you to the party. Thank you. Yeah, Jessica Knowles hanging out in the chat here too. She said she can't wait to see you at CrimeCon.
Yeah, I'm gonna be hooking up with Jessica. I think we're gonna do a live podcast
With the investigators.
Yeah, I have a crazy schedule packed into like a day and a half. It's absolutely insane.
I bet you
I don't even know if I'm gonna be able to go to sleep. Yeah, I'm not joking.
Everyone's like,
joking.
we gotta have you on here. Yeah, you're in high demand, dude. You're literally on everything. Like, hey, earlier when you were talking to Jay, you were like, oh, the only thing I haven't been on is Court TV. Bam! It was on Court TV. Somebody saw that.
Yeah, that was funny. Yeah, because someone said, hey, were you on Court TV? They said that in Twitter or X or whatever we call it now. And I just said, Court TV is the only true crime channel that I haven't been on. The next day, I get a call from the producer and says, hey, are you available to come and do the show? So I don't believe in coincidences, So somebody saw that, and it was good. I got on with Julie Grant. She's a nice lady, and
I've seen her on there. She's cool.
I had a long show. I mean, I think I was on there for like 8 minutes, which is unusual because some of these things, like if you blink, you miss me.
I think Court TV is paying attention to what's going on out here a little bit closer to maybe some of the other networks. I kind of watch all of them, and Court TV gives the guest a little bit more win. They let them talk a little bit more.
Yeah,
and Bob goes on there all the time.
And Law and Crime Network does too, right? So Law and Crime, it had asked me because I went to the Rachel Morin scene, and I kind of just happened to catch the memorial that they had there, and so they had me on and they showed the video and everything. It was pretty cool, because like I said, that was my first video that I ever did, and here it was on regular TV, so it was actually pretty cool.
That's crazy. And hell, speaking of TV, you were just shooting a documentary for LISK, right? Long Island serial killer Gilgo.
Yeah, for the CW. We just filmed it the other day. I was in school. We did it at John Jay, and I was in the chair for like 2.5 hours. So this whole documentary is 2 hours, so it's not all me, I can tell you that. So I don't know how much are they going to use. They have a lot of people. Yep, there it is. You can see the back of my bald head. And yeah, and I guess I hope you spell my name right in the credits. You spelled my name wrong on the the clap thing.
Oh. Dude, I'm the worst at spelling, and I endlessly go back. I'm Googling, I'm going back, I'm double checking, and I still mess it up. Like earlier, I misspelled Sergeant in the first tweet that I made, and I'm like, damn it.
Yeah, so I said, I hope you guys pay a little more attention to those details. So, but it wouldn't be the first time.
If you're going to tell this story.
Yeah, they've spelt my name wrong. They've given my wrong titles. They gave my wrong department. They've made me a chief. I've been it. You name it. I've been it.
Well,
that's actually not cool.
I mean, like, how hard is it to say sergeant? It's like after a while, you just kind of say to yourself, "What?" I used to send them an email and say, "Hey, listen, would you mind correcting this? You can put in a story online. It's easy, right? But once it hit the newspaper, you can't do anything about it."
Yeah, it's out there.
I gave up. I just gave up. Yeah,
that's still real annoying though. But did they seem at least to ask the right questions during the interview? I know you said they did like 2 hours of filming.
Yeah, no. So I mean, one thing about because this case pretty much happened in my backyard. I was still working. I retired about a year or two after this case first broke, so I kind of really took a liking to it because we were a little bit involved in the beginning. From being the cold case squad, and seeing if any cases match and those kind of things. But we had more cases that matched to a guy in Yonkers than we actually did anything on Long Island. So, they put those kind of cases together. But, so I followed, I lived in Wantagh at the time, which was part of Jones Beach. It covers Jones Beach. So, like I said, when I say it's in my backyard, it was like literally in my backyard. And, and it was just, we never had anything like that. Long Island had its, share of serial killers. I think I counted like 5 in the last like 30 or 40 years. And that's a lot for a small, island. Even though it's like, whatever, 4 million people live there, it's still pretty high number.
That is high. I would think more than one's high, but Jesus. Also, yeah. I mean, I say that, but the more I look into this shit, dude, I don't know. Like, it seems like there's a way higher. I'm like, I just plugged the show coming on Tuesday, Killers You've Never Heard of Before. There's so many. Like, it's wild.
It's endless.
It's unfortunate too, right? But if you go to like a bookstore like Barnes and Nobles, they'll tell you the true crime section is number 2 now behind romance. I don't think you'll ever unseat romance stories, but for the book sales. But true crime number 2. I mean, if you go to any bookstore now, it has its own section, and it's at least 2 or 3 huge bookshelves of just all true crime stuff.
Yeah, true crime is massive right now. Hell, I mean, just getting into the true crime scene and community within the last year. I mean, yeah. And I will say this, it's one of the most welcoming communities that I've seen out here on the internet, on the interwebs. One of the nicest. Of course, you're going to have bad apples in any community, but I think the percentage in the true crime community to other communities that I've seen and I've been in is overwhelmingly positive. It's super awesome to see. People want to help more than hurt, it seems like.
Yeah, no, I mean, listen, I have, I've talked about this now for a number of years. The media is really interested. And the media I always thought like the media was interested because they thought like this would be a cool story. But now in hindsight, I think it was more of, is this going to be competition directly to us? So that was that whole thing. And, and I think that was in the grand scheme of things, I think it was more of, is the YouTube web sleuthers and the true crime people going to be a problem for us? Because, if it bleeds, it leads, right? I mean, that's the way the newspapers used to run. So, looking back now, they're starting their own kind of shows and doing things. You got, for the local paper in Long Island, Newsday TV, and, and I'm sure they're all going to start one. The New York Times will have a TV station, and everybody else is going to have one too, because the kids today don't pick up a newspaper. They get everything off the social media, and it's
Twitter and X is huge. Like, basically any news I get is coming from there before I see it anywhere else now. Like, for example,
me too.
The Cavalcante stuff. I mean, the news that was breaking on Twitter and YouTube with some of the independent sleuths, whatever you want to call them, that was out there was hours before TV. It was wild.
And think about it. They have to get their stuff together, right? I mean,
right. They got to, they're double checking, right? That might be the problem, because web sleuths a lot of times, and I'm probably guilty of this too, not doing the double check. You're putting it out there, and now you done fucked up, right?
Well, you know what though, for the true crime community stuff, that's not such a terrible thing, right? Because you're not a big major news agency, so you don't have to worry about the backlash on that thing. If you're wrong, just delete it and move on.
Right.
That's basically it. But a lot of people get upset when the news organizations do that. So that there is part of the draw to it. But the whole part of social media about the news jacking, and the hashtags. I mean, remember when Threads came out and everybody said, "Oh my God, Threads is a Twitter killer," right? I haven't heard
didn't say that.
Threads mentioned in
That's actually pretty loud about how that wasn't going to work, because Facebook is the worst for censorship. Like, I can make a joke post on Facebook and I'll be banned from posting in communities for 30 days. Like, there's no way to even challenge it. Like, they're basically saying there's an AI bot that has found this information to go against their terms and services, and they're not even going to look at it twice. And I've literally had that happen multiple times, where I will say, at least on X, however you want to look at that politically, I'm not going to go down that road. I do think on X, and the way it's actually being handled with the censorship side of it, and letting people at least have their say, that's the way to go. Like, you find your tribe, right? Like, you're not going to be hanging out with shitty people on X. You're probably going to get away from that, and if you do interact with those people, that's on you at the end of the day. So, I really enjoy X. And again, I've said it with Jay, I've said it multiple times. Even with you, sir, we wouldn't be here right now if it wasn't for the networking and the community and just the building upon the small things that we do accomplish, even here on YouTube, through Twitter and X. It's been amazing. Like,
I enjoy Twitter. You know, I mean,
I do too.
it was easy. Yeah, I mean, you get a chance, and like I said, you could find your niche pretty quickly just based on even hashtags or just from what people did for a living. So it's not that kind of where you really have to go hunting for things. I mean, you could find pretty much everything you want. And like I said, the breaking news part, I always liked the news. I used to enjoy watching the TV when I was a kid and reading the newspaper up until the point where you can't find a newspaper anymore. So now it's just, it is what it is. But every now and then I'll pick up the paper on a Sunday and a cup of coffee and I'll just sit and read the whole thing. That's what
now
I enjoy doing.
Now the newspaper is what's trending on Twitter, right?
Yeah.
What's the trend? What's the top trend here? What's the top headline? Like, that's kind of taking that over, at least for me. Because I enjoy looking at the news as well, like different parts of all kinds of news across different landscapes, but specifically into true crime. But and that's one thing about Twitter too. And I know we've seen J-Bo Nation that's been trending here lately. Twitter is really good, or X, whatever you want to call it, is really good about it, and it's an algorithm, and it gets used to you, I guess, and maybe that's creepy also, but it gets used to what you're already kind of looking at in terms of news, if you're on that subject, and it kind of like points you into the right direction. And then again, you can put in keywords for it to pop up, which is amazing and great too. And I use that for Google for news stories, but I don't know, man, like just the accessibility for breaking news is unparalleled right now with X.
Yeah,
and it
I don't
doesn't
think it's
flood
going
you
anywhere.
with stuff either. It doesn't flood you with that other like content you don't follow. It'll just give you bits and pieces here and there. I like that about it. Just a couple of months ago, I was completely against Twitter. I wasn't even using it. I hated it. And then I kind of got into the groove of it, and now I check it more than any other social media platform today.
I had to get Dan on Twitter.
Yeah.
He was against it, which I try to, and I understand
like
it. And I'm glad that you enjoy it too. Hold on.
It's
What we got happening
too.
in here? Hope
It's
8
easy.
Fear is going to gift out a membership. Who's going to get that bad boy? Brooklyn. Hell yeah, let's go. Welcome to the party, Brooklyn. Thank you, Brooklyn. You're always hanging out. I know she'll probably be here for Murder Church in the morning. Real quick plug, 9 a.m. Eastern Time, Murder Church is going to be on the air week 17, if you can believe that or not, of the Jeffrey Dahmer insanity trial. And I just seen there was some new Jeffrey Dahmer information. I guess maybe Fox Nation put out a documentary or something. There's some new tapes that's released with some phone conversations with Jeffrey and his father. I need to look at that. But yeah, please, in the morning, week 17, Murder Church. Let me look through here. And anybody in the chat that has any questions for Joe, please bring those out as well. One thing I do want to bring up, because you told me earlier, the thumbnail, that picture, I don't have it in there. I cut you out of that, but you're in a cemetery.
Yeah.
So what's the story behind that?
Well, they wanted to do to do some professional shots for one of the TV shows that were coming up. So I guess, the whole cold case, death or whatever, cemetery. So let's go get some pictures in the cemetery. So, there I am standing there. You can see I wasn't really happy about the whole thing.
That seems,
Okay.
You're like, can we go a different route here?
Yeah, I did like that leather jacket I had, though. I don't know what happened to that. I had that black leather overcoat that I used to like. That was a great jacket. But
You're looking like you're meaning business also in that picture.
Yeah, I guess so.
Did they take a bunch of shots? Was there loads of shots, different faces?
Yeah, there's different shots, and then the other picture that you were using when you first put it out for the Saturday night thing, that was actually taken in the MSNBC green room. They used to have this chalkboard on like who was up next and everything else when you go in the green room. I used to do a lot in in-person news, and then the pandemic hit, and after that, and then that was the end of that. And then also it's a lot cheaper for them because they don't have to pay for your car fare and everything else that you get there. So
everybody's doing Zoom
and it
now.
becomes a job. Yeah, it becomes a job though. It's a whole day. You have to go into Manhattan. It's a whole day.
A lot more comfortable for you just to hang at the house and be able to do it through Zoom.
Yeah, absolutely. And like I said, when I first retired, I wanted to do some news stuff. And one of the local reporters I was talking to, he said, "Listen, think national, but act local." And what he meant was just there's so many people out there that need to tell stories, and between the social media and the internet, and then the news people that need people, they have their own internet thing. So that's what I did, and then I laid out a whole plan. I spent this whole, a lot of time for it, and then like 2 days into it, I got a phone call from A&E, and I was on television before I was on anything else. So so I'm like, there goes that plan. After I spent like 2 weeks putting a business plan together,
that's how life is, though.
Yeah, sometimes better to be lucky than good.
Miss Lily C 199 says, "Thank you, NYPD, my blue familia."
There you go.
Thank you very much, Miss Lily. And then underneath that, Missy Mayhem with $4. Boom. Thank you, Missy. Appreciate that. And then I do see one question here from Jay. Ask Joe who is the best actor / role that plays a New York detective.
Well, it's got to be Andy Sipowicz, right, from NYPD Blue. That was probably the most accurate show for investigations. But when people ask me what's the most accurate police TV show, Barney Miller. Now, I'm dating myself because Barney Miller was a 70s show. But it's, you can still watch it. Oh my God. If you want to see really what a precinct detective squad really is like, Barney Miller is probably the closest thing that you can get to it.
75 to 82.
Yeah, there you go.
Okay, I'm gonna look this up.
Yeah, it's a great show, like I said. But NYPD Blue, from the from the real hard nosed cop kind of show, that was probably the closest to it. The first couple of seasons, and then it kind of got silly, with because I guess they ran out of stories and they started going, doing all kinds of crazy stuff. But at least the first couple of seasons was really good.
Those shows are probably really hard for you to watch, though, especially once they get silly, because you're just like, okay.
Yeah,
like, can you kind of escape through those? Can you kind of like take yourself out of the detective or the sergeant's train of thought and like and they just kind of absorb? No.
You can't, because honestly I don't watch a lot of those. I really don't. But if I do get forced watching one or stuck watching one, I'll pick out certain things. And so for instance, people like, I wasn't watching, like, oh, you gotta watch Blue Bloods. Okay, so I sit down, I watch it, and the commissioner's wearing a uniform. I'm like, I'm done, right? Because the commissioner in the NYPD is a civilian. He or she doesn't wear a uniform, so here they have the commissioner in a uniform. I'm already done with this. I'm like,
wow,
are you guys paying consultants or what? Like, what are we doing?
Wow, that's messed up. Yeah, because I would have not thought about that, and I probably wouldn't even have Googled that. Like, that would not have hit me the same way. That sucks. Wow.
Yeah. So like I said, those things kind of annoy me at that point. But I know it's entertainment, and I know they can do things for literary license. I get it, but if you want to watch a good cop movie, French Connection, right? So there's another good one. There's all the surveillance and the chases and everything like that in the good old days.
That one's got a great car chase. No, I've seen.
Oh my God, yeah, great movie.
That's I actually love 70s cop movies, man.
Yeah, like the Dirty Harry movies and stuff like that. Totally unreal.
Do you like Death Wish?
Actually, I think I lived through the Death Wish era, in New York City going in the 1990s. Oh, man. I think
favorite
back,
cop show was The Wire. Do you like The Wire?
Oh, The Wire.
I've never seen an episode of The Wire.
I'm not going to tell you to watch it because you're going to be like, well, this is bullshit.
You're going to hate it, yeah. God, I love that show.
I've never seen that. Yeah, I've never seen that. I've never watched movies like The Game of Thrones, or I've never seen an episode of that either. The list goes on. People say, what do you watch?
Jessica has it's not really a question, but it is a question. What can I hold on? I dropped it there. What can I bring you for breakfast? Before he's talking to Todd and I, and before he bounces the airport. Yeah, what do you eat for breakfast?
Coffee. Yeah, we're gonna have coffee. That's it. I'm gonna need that to keep myself going because I'm gonna be up all day on Thursday. So I'm pretty easy.
Let's see here. Let me look through the chat real quick for any more questions here. Right here. Oh, hold on. Yeah, Mandy, did you have Little Rascals in your coat? Did you see that question during the Cavalcante press conference after they caught him?
Yeah. I mean,
oh man.
But see, this is a problem, though, right? So I understand that it's a joke and all, but for the true crime people, who did it? I don't even know who.
Michael Rainey. Okay. This is the guy's name.
But I mean, if you want to be taken seriously and you want to do this stuff, you can't. When you have an opportunity to ask a question at a press conference and that's what you ask, you kind of like destroy it for everybody else.
The cop's face when he asked, he just stares at him for a minute.
Yeah.
No. Like he was just like, what are we doing here?
And
I guess
they
that guy
promptly
must
kicked
have
him out as well, right?
That guy must have got
that
in
was
there,
it.
snuck
Done.
in, right? Because don't they
think
check
about it, if he has
credentials?
to-
I mean,
But if he has, well, there's so many people going on, and I guess if everyone's behaving, it's not a big deal. But here's a golden opportunity, right? You have an independent journalist or whatever he wants to call himself, true crime, whatever.
Yeah.
He has a chance. If he asks a good question, he has a good chance of not only getting himself invited back to the next one, but also it opens the door to other people.
that's true.
You know,
And yeah,
so-
ultimately, I am for independent journalists being able to get into that space anyways and able to ask a question.
Right, unless it's going to be something stupid.
Jessica, my favorite cop show, SVU and Blue Bloods. Oh, shit.
There you go.
Oh, shit.
Yeah.
That would suck, though, man. I could see that being real annoying instantly, something like that just taking you right out of it. I don't want to recommend it because you're going to be like, this is bullshit, but The Wire is really good. Like, it's a great show.
I've been told that, yeah.
It's a good one.
I might read the book first.
Yeah.
Just looking through here real quick. Oh, here we go. Did you ever have a major car chase like French Connection or, a major car chase?
Yeah, God, no. Car chases in New York City are just, unless somebody's really done something terrible, you can't chase anybody because there's just too
That's
many
just a
people.
no-go.
Yeah, it's just too many people.
Too many chances of something.
You never say never, never say always. They would let you chase depending on the time of day, right? If it's 3:00 in the morning, or this person's done something really terrible, but they're not making you. They're not going to. Think about it. We've seen it, right? When a taxi cab goes out of control, hits a corner. There's like 40 people standing on the corner. You can wipe out a lot of people, so it's just not worth it.
Oh, that's interesting.
Law and
Right here,
Order?
I feel the same thing when I watch a movie or a show about journalism when they do things that would never happen. Yeah, I could see that totally
Right.
taking you out of it if that's your profession. Yeah, that's
Like the
annoying.
Oxford comma. So I know some journalists get really crazy over the Oxford comma, but it is what it is. Yeah, listen, any kind of show. So I guess some lawyers would tell you about some of those TV shows. Best cop movie, Ace Ventura. Yep.
They nailed it.
But you know what though? We had characters like that guy, working there. But that's what made the police department so fun.
Whoa, you had characters like Ace Ventura.
Yeah, you had some characters that you work with. And, sometimes you can even question yourself at certain points. You're just like, how did this guy get on this job? At this point. But those are the kind of guys and girls that made the job, easy to do. Because I'll tell you, I never met a bunch of people besides cops that many of them are really funny. Quick-witted. You say something to them, they can say something back before the first insult even was finished. The other guy, they're hitting them with another one right afterwards. Pretty. It was a lot of fun.
It seems to be really common among New Yorkers. What is it about New York and having quick wit?
I guess because it's all really about it's about survival at certain points.
Yeah.
Gotta have thick skin.
now
You
it's
gotta be
like-
quick to let people know you're not just gonna be a punching bag.
Yeah, it's definitely a different place. Like when I go travel and I go to places, whatever, and first of all, I open my mouth. They know that I'm not from around there, but they always think because sometimes people get nervous, right? Because they think like you're really aggressive or you're really, because I guess a lot of New Yorkers they still, no matter what, it's like it's not you can't turn it on and turn it off.
Yeah.
And it's like for instance, you go to I remember my wife and I went to a trip to New Hampshire and. We went to a Dunkin' Donuts. I went to get a cup of coffee, and the kid takes your money. And I asked for the coffee, and I gave him the money. And then he makes the coffee, and then walks the coffee all the way down to the end and puts it down. I'm like,
I'm right here,
What do you
bro.
think? I'm right here. Just hand it. Oh, you have to pick it up down there. I'm like, why? Right? just I'm right here.
I wouldn't have handled that well either. I'm like, what are we doing?
Yeah, we're like fast-paced people. We got to get things done. Get out of my way.
Jay said busting balls is a science here.
Yeah, and now it's like when I'm in Manhattan, like dodging people on cell phones. If it was an Olympic event, I could get a gold medal.
Oh Lord!
It's just
I
like
couldn't imagine.
because, you're trying to go through, and people are on their phones or looking up at the stars in the buildings. You're like, just get the hell out of the way. I want to get to work.
Zombies
And
lurking.
Yeah.
Miss Lily C, what are your thoughts on NYPD 12? It's a documentary. I'm not familiar. with that.
NYPD 12. You mean Adam 12, maybe from the '70s show, the LA
Is that what you
show,
mean, Miss
Adam
Lily?
12?
Because I'm not familiar with NYPD 12. Let me Google it here.
Yeah, neither am I. Or
Just to
they
see.
had what Brooklyn Nine-Nine is another comedy. There's so many shows Well, this is one thing, right? You think about it. There's so many police shows on television. Some of them are comedy,
Good
some of them
thought.
are drama. But it's always been that way. People love cop shows, and that's why I think the true crime things really have kicked off with the internet, and being able to do videos and talk about cases and everything like that. And I think it's
I grew up. I grew up watching with my grandma In the Heat of the Night. If you remember that one,
yeah, I
she
remember
loved
one.
that show.
Yeah, I was with Archie Bunko, right?
Yep.
Was he in that one?
Yep.
Yeah.
Art with Viv. Why did you get into police work?
Oh, okay, great question.
That is a great question.
If let's put it this way, if you would have bet my parents, they would have said I was going to be a fireman. See, my uncle, my godfather, was a fire captain in the fire department. He was pretty high up there, and I was always like kind of caught up in that whole civil service thing, and he took me to the firehouse in New York City when I was a kid, and they figured this was going to be it, and I was going to be a fireman. But when the time came to take the test, they weren't given the test. The fire department was basically shut down. So I said, let me take the police department test, and I took it, and like I say, the rest is history. And I got on fast. I took the test in, I think it was like June of 1990, if I remember correctly, and I got hired in June of 92, which is kind of like unheard of. But if you remember in the history, that's when President Bill Clinton at the time passed the Safe Streets, Safe City plan, and you had the they gave all kinds of money to specifically New York City and other cities to hire police officers in order to try to get a handle on the crime problem that was plaguing America at the time. So they were hiring tons of cops, and it's like everything else, timing's everything. And I took the test at the right time, and the next thing you know, I took it and I was in the academy, and the rest is history.
Nice. Yeah, dude. I mean, that's a step. Like, actually, I mean, I know it was maybe in your blood essentially, but that's still realizing that that's what you want to do. That's a big step, because I don't think I couldn't do it, man. Like, that's heavy. Like, it's so much.
Yeah, it's like like I said, I was gonna probably either do the fire department or the police department came as like a second thing, but it's I was kind of just always leaning towards that civil service thing. I mean, I came from my parents were my mom was a stay-at-home mom, my dad was an auto mechanic. They were first generation Americans and everything else. So I mean, it was tough, right? I mean, we didn't have a lot of things and we did stuff. So kind of civil service was the way to go. It was a steady job. It was a paycheck. It was benefits. So you kind of like, geared towards that, because the mindset was different than like the kids today, right? Because none of that stuff really even exists anymore. A lot of places get rid of pensions. The health benefits aren't the way they are anymore. So they kind of gotten away from that. But, I wish they would just go back to it, because they're having a real problem with recruitment now.
Oh, wow. Yeah, I mean, it makes sense, because, I mean, just look at the way police in general are usually portrayed in the media, right? Probably a lot of people are freaked out about a lot of this stuff.
Well, I mean, listen, they didn't really help themselves either, right? The Derek Chauvin case up in Minneapolis, and they didn't help themselves, and then the
100%.
case in is it Memphis, right?
There's a lot of
this kind of
gross ones.
stuff. Yeah, this one, this kind of stuff doesn't help, right? So, I mean, yes, I understand they are few and far between, but when they're bad, they're really bad, and you're dealing with a serious problem, and it was just bad timing in the respect that they got on top of the defund the police movement. They got the criminal justice reforms, reform after reform after reform, and I keep on telling people there's nowhere you're going to find the word reform synonymous with good. And because it's really, now you're seeing the whole plan, it's really not reform in mind, it's really abolition. They're trying to get rid of the police, and it's not working, but they're still pushing forward.
It's
some of these people.
really not working in a lot of places.
No, it's not.
They actually need more money to fund the police for probably mental health reasons, right? I mean,
well, yeah,
these guys are stressed to death.
But let's examine this for a second, right? So for decades, the police department's been responsible for handling all mental health calls, because there isn't any organization. And the dirty little secret is most of our psychiatric centers have been closed down. There are very few places that you could bring people that have beds that need some psycho analysis. A psychologist or a psychiatrist. So, these politicians, they talk out of both sides of their mouth. They want you to, we're going to bring in social workers and we're going to get people but there's no place to bring them. So who gets stuck with it again? The cops. And if you think about it, you're dealing with an agency that does so much more than policing. you get a big bang for your buck from them. I know people complain, oh, the cops do this, the cops making money, and they're doing. But they're your social workers, they're your truant officers, they're your domestic violence interrupters, they're the counselors. I mean, you name it. You'd have to hire tens of thousands of people to cover everything that the cops do. For starting out in the city, $50,000. Where are you going to find somebody to do all those jobs for $50,000?
Yeah, dude, there needs to be more money being put into policing, honestly, into these areas. Because yeah, man, at the end of the day,
it's nuts.
Man, and like, what's your thoughts on? I guess so. You get a call, and it's a mental health issue. It's not necessarily violent at that time. I guess it could become violent. They send out police. Are you for them sending out like somebody that's not a police officer, like somebody that's there to actually help them through their episode?
Yeah, I mean, I've been on the record on a number of these things in the media, and I try to explain to them, if you're thinking that the cops are upset that you're trying to take this away from them and give it to other people, you're out of your mind. You're crazy. The cops don't want to do this. I mean, these are probably some of the most dangerous situations you walk into, because the minute the minute they see the uniform, sometimes if somebody's not in their right mind, they go off.
That's a good point.
And unfortunately, for the social workers, they're walking into these things like everything's calm. But if the thing goes south and the cops aren't there, I'm sorry, you're going to have problems. And we had problems as cops where people would just go off the rails when you're there. I mean, and listen, I mean, cops do so many other, like I said before, so many other things, like, a lift job where somebody calls up and says, my husband fell down, maybe he's handicapped, or somebody fell and they can't get up. So they call 911. Who do you think they send? They send the police. They might send EMS, but we're going to get there a lot faster than EMS is.
Yep.
So we get this. So this is a quick, funny story. So we get to this one house, we get in, and tactically you always listen before you knock on the door. Always, right? So you listen to what the people are saying inside, because sometimes you can hear things that they didn't want you to hear.
Know what you're going into, yeah.
Yeah. So anyway, we hear this woman yelling at somebody. I mean, yelling at him, like, what are you doing? I told you not to do this. So I'm like, oh boy, here we go. So anyway, we knock on the door, and this little old lady answers the door. And I didn't know how old she was at the time, but she was old. And so, like, man, what's going on? Oh, my husband, he didn't do what I told him to do, and he fell off the chair, and I can't get him up. Okay, so we get there. Here's this guy in the kitchen. He's on the floor. He's complaining. She's standing over and yelling at him, and she's still yelling. I'm like, man, just let us pick him up and go. So she turns to me and she goes, ever since he turned 100, he's been useless. And
Jesus Christ!
Give this man a break.
I'm like, holy cow! So what happens? So we get him off the chair, and he's mumbling something. So this guy's mumbling something. She's yelling at him, and he says, "I survived World War II and a concentration camp, and this is what I have to deal with every day."
Wow!
Wow! So I'm sure that poor man's gone by now, but because we're talking 25 years ago, he was 100 years old, and she was yelling at him because
the day you turned 100 is the day you stopped caring.
Oh my God! Yeah, he's been useless ever since he turned 100.
Holy shit. First of all, in the chat here, Mara coming through here and gifting out 10 memberships. Dear God. Let's see how many of these names fuck up. Karen B. The second one, I don't know. Amity Saint Noir. Thank you so much. Kathy, Auntie P, Bubs Babe, Just Samantha. Hold on, it just jumped on me. Eva, thank you very much. Sabetti Ross, Mermaid, Dan, Runningham. Thank you all so much for, welcome to being members. First of all, and thank you, Mara. Holy crap. That's absolutely amazing. 10.
Welcome to the party, pal.
Mara, you're absolutely unbelievable. Thank you very much for that. Beers in the chat. See those things popping out? Yeah, the community here between J-Buzz Nation, J-Bo Nation is absolutely unbelievable. These people are crazy. And I see somebody else just became a member, Fuzzy Puff. Thank you so much, Fuzzy Puff. What an awesome name.
Welcome to the party, pal.
Show you a little love as well. Thank you so much. Everybody hanging out here tonight. Thank you all so much. We got a full house hanging and banging. Please hit that like. Yeah, what an awesome night, Joe. I can't believe that you've hung out with us here. This is awesome, man. Like, unbelievable.
Yeah, so that story I never told on. That was an exclusive for you guys. I never told that story out.
Hell yeah.
Publicly Buzzed exclusives being dropped right here, baby.
So yeah, I mean, but that was one thing about the police department. You had hundreds of those stories. Where just people do stuff, and you just like you said, if you told me, say, hey Joe, there's a pink elephant in the lobby, you won't believe it. And I was like, well, let's go see it.
You know what? It might be there.
Yeah. Yeah, I say that all the time. It drives my wife crazy when she says, you're never gonna believe this. I go, try me. You know, I've seen a lot of stuff that people said you're never going to believe this, and you see that and you're just like, oh God, I can't believe it.
Yes, Jessica, we cannot wait to have you on here as well. You and Todd will be coming through here, the investigators. What was the date on that? Was it October 20th, I believe? I believe I got that right. Getting close to Halloween on that one, so that's going to be a fun episode. Yeah, unbelievable. Yeah, Publicly Buzzed exclusive right here, Jay.
There it is. Yep. Well, not like Jay's been breaking news, right? He's been really breaking news.
Jay's breaking national news. Hell, he broke the national news that you're a part of, the BTK Task Force. I know that you can't talk about it, but just being a part of that is wild.
Yeah, the only thing I can say is I can confirm that, yes, I'm on the BTK task force because it was already put out on the news, and actually the sheriff of Oklahoma put out the list of everybody on there, so that's not a secret. But like I said, we can't talk about any cases or anything in particular or what we're doing.
That's still pretty cool that you were, that you were brought in for that. That list is a who's who, though. So
yeah, it's an interesting list, right? It's pretty eclectic. Lots of different expertise areas and stuff like that. I'm looking forward to getting in there, pitching, and see what I can do.
I don't think you need to dress up, Jessica. We don't get too fancy here on Publicly Buzzed. Oh wait,
yeah, I'm wearing
for Halloween.
Jessica.
Maybe, actually, could be Todd for Halloween. Yeah, holy shit. Are we going to dress up, Dan? What are you going to be for Halloween?
I don't know. Yeah, we got to think about that.
I didn't even think about that.
I actually do have an idea.
Oh wow!
But I'm not.
I'm going to be Nancy Grace.
Now. It's too early.
I'm actually going to be Nancy Grace on the air.
Oh my God!
The blonde wig.
Well, I'm doing the podcast with Nancy Grace too, right? So they added that for me. So I have every day they call me up and say, "Hey Joe, can you do this? Can you do that?" I'm like, "Yeah, I could do everything. Give me a broom, I could sweep the floor while I'm walking." But So my Friday, right? I have my I'm doing Sidebar with Law and Crime Network for an hour. It's already sold out. I think it was 1,500 tickets already sold out or something like that. Something crazy. Then I have my own show that I'm doing or talk I'm doing about cold cases. That's at 2:00. Then I have my book signing at 4:00. And then I'm doing something at 6. And then Thursday morning, I'm going to be with Friday morning or Saturday morning. I don't even know. I'm going to be with Jessica. And then I'm going to be with Nancy Grace right afterwards. So we're doing all this, and then there's a couple of other podcasts that people want me to get involved. I like to do them all, but I don't know if the schedule would allow.
That's crazy. Yeah, you're on a pod hop. Yeah, instead of a bar hop.
Like I said, I'll try to do as many as I can. I mean,
you're doing them all.
Well, you know what it is. I mean, people ask me. I try not to tell them no. I mean, the only reason why I tell people no is just because it's a conflict and I can't do it, or my plane's leaving. Right? So somebody said, "Oh, can you do something at 4:00?" I'm like, my plane leaves at 4:30. I can't do it at 4:00. And I'm not going to miss that and get stuck in Orlando for an extra day.
Yeah.
But that's the only time I say no. I generally don't say no to anybody.
Wanted man, MVP, yeah, man, and being so kind and willing to do it again for a small channel like that, dude. He's going to be on Nancy Grace. Nancy Grace is the queen of the entire community. Are you kidding me? Like, this is insanity. Like, again, appreciate the hell out of this, Joe.
Oh, anytime. I mean, listen, this is fun stuff, right? You get the chance to meet new people, you talk to them, you chat, and it's like, and you're not stuck on one topic, or you're not. So to me, this is fun stuff. Plus, I don't have to, travel. I don't have to do anything because listen, I'm not a big traveler. I'm a homebody, right? So give me my house, and that's where I'm comfortable. I can stay there. I don't have to go anywhere. If I want to see something, I can turn on the internet, right? I don't need to go anywhere.
Nope.
Want to see the Great Wall of China? Just Google it. There it is.
Right there, baby.
Yeah, I don't have to travel 19 hours in a plane to get there. But this is going to be fun. And like I said, I've been there before a couple of years, but and this is going to sound bad, right? But I guess my exposure has been a lot more now over the last couple of years. So this one's going to be like my first really big one where people are inviting me to do things, to be on stage with them for an hour. And it's not only going to be live, but it's going to be televised too. So, it's pretty good.
It's a lot. That's awesome, man. And you're always on, so it's going to be killer. You're going to kill it. I know it. Well, first of all, I'm going to put right here before we take out of here tonight, I'm going to put Joe, ! Joe into the chat. That is YouTube. Make sure you're following him if you're not. And then Mandy, if you wouldn't mind to also put his kick in there so you can get him on there because he's going to be doing dual streams ladies and gentlemen. He did his first one earlier with Jay, and it was awesome. And yeah, Joe, you'll definitely be back. Dan,
anytime. You guys give me a buzz, whatever. Like I said, I just don't do things late at night because after this, I'm taking a shower, I'm going to bed.
I did. I was like, how about Feral Friday? We usually start that about 10:30 p.m. But then as soon as I sent that, I was like, I literally sent right after. I was like, actually, I didn't take into consideration that time slot at all, and I don't want to.
Well, I'm an early riser, right? So I used to get it to work every day at 4:00 in the morning, and I used to start at like 6:00. So I'm used to getting up real early. So and when I retired, I figured, good, I could sleep till noon now. Yeah, no, that never happened. I'm up by 6:00, right? So that's about that's. But I kind of preferred that. But I end up, you go to bed early and you do that stuff. But it's worked for me all these years. And like my grandmother used to tell me all the time, do what you can because someday there'll be plenty of time to sleep, right? So just do it all.
Absolutely.
That's what I'm thinking right now, actually, man. I'm putting a lot of time into this.
That's it. She used to say, you'll catch up on all your sleep the first day you're dead. I promise you.
Just first day, you're not going to worry about it.
So that's what I kind of that's been my motto, and that's what I do.
Ladies and gentlemen, everyone hanging out here tonight for the first ever Saturday Night Fever with Publicly Buzzed Live, thank you so much. As you head out the door, please hit the like. I have a portal set up. Let me make sure I do. Actually, before I say that, I'm pretty sure I do. Yes. Yeah, the portal's actually going to your Tuesday stream. Yeah. With Gus Garcia Roberts. Bam. So, hell yeah.
Awesome. Yeah,
that is
very nice of you guys.
So when you guys get there, please hit the like. Let people know that you're going to be hanging out there Tuesday. Absolutely amazing show. This has been one of my favorite ones, Joe. This has been cool, man. You're easy as hell to talk to. Wow.
Let's do this again.
Sorry, I was going to say it's easy to see why you're in high demand.
It is.
Well, thanks. Like I said, I mean, this was fun kind of stuff. I mean, let's do this again. And the nice thing about it, we could talk about so many different things without having to get into cases specific, right?
Exactly.
We could do that too, right? So listen, there's going to be some big news coming up in the Long Island serial killer case. That's all I can tell you. I think in the next couple of weeks, there's going to be some big news coming up.
The next time you see Joe, it's going to be an alien show. He's coming up for aliens.
Well, I don't have the hair like that guy does, right? Aliens, but
aliens. Absolutely amazing show. I can't thank you enough. All the plugs. Make sure you're following Joe on X, all the socials. He's got Facebook also. Out here doing the damn thing. He's gonna be going to the moon. I know it. He's killing it already. Dan, thank you so much for hanging out tonight, brother.
Absolutely.
Murder Church, 9 a.m. in the morning, guys. It's not long off. We're 12 hours away. 9 a.m. Eastern time. Please come hang out. We'll be hanging out till about 1 or so. Come hang out before you start watching some football tomorrow, guys.
Yeah,
again,
I'm gonna stop in tomorrow too.
Yes, Joe's gonna be hanging out. Dude, we get some celebrities in Murder Church. We get celebs hanging out in Murder Church. It's been wild. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, you're going to be hitting the portal right now. Joe, thank you so much again, sir. I appreciate it. Everyone here, love you.
Not everybody.
Take care, guys.